What is happening, Tarnished? The news cycle is absolutely wild right now, and we've got some massive updates that you cannot afford to miss. From the depths of space to the frontiers of virtual worlds, the game just changed. Get ready for the biggest stories that are shaking up the industry. First up, a space opera that promised the stars but stumbled a bit is getting a much-needed overhaul. We're talking about a complete reimagining of how you traverse the cosmos, aiming to make every jump, every encounter, truly count. Forget those loading screen blues. This is about breathing life back into the void and making your journey between worlds as epic as the destination. Is this the redemption arc we've been waiting for? You bet it is. Then we dive into a world that's channeling all the right vibes, a game that's leaning into its quirky, character-driven roots, offering a stark contrast to the vast emptiness some have experienced elsewhere. Think witty dialogue, bizarre quests, and a universe that feels alive and kicking, packed with personality. This is the RPG experience many have been craving, a true spiritual successor to beloved classics. And if that wasn't enough, we're exploring the hype around a game that's already captured hearts, a title that's proving that sometimes, the best way to win over players is to embrace the charmingly strange and the delightfully absurd. This one's already making waves, proving that a strong identity and a unique approach can set a game apart. Finally, a titan of the RPG world, a series that has defined open-world exploration for a generation, is on the horizon. But with recent missteps casting a shadow, fans are on edge. Will the next installment recapture the magic, or will it fall into the same pitfalls? We've got the inside scoop on the concerns, the hopes, and what this epic saga might look like. You don't want to miss this deep dive. Stick around, because the truth is out there, and we're here to uncover it all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's go. Starfield's stellar overhaul, a new dawn for space travel. Despite the immense anticipation surrounding its launch, Todd Howard's ambitious space opera, Starfield, has faced a somewhat lukewarm reception compared to the colossal success of The Elder Scrolls V. Skyrim. However, a recent update announced by Bethesda signals a significant transformation, particularly for its often criticized space travel mechanics. This update promises to inject a much-needed dose of reward and immersion into traversing the galaxy, drawing parallels to the revitalized space exploration scene in No Man's Sky. For a game that began with such grand aspirations, this could be a pivotal moment in addressing player feedback and redefining the core experience. Many players found Starfield's vastness to be its weakness, with space travel often feeling like little more than an extended loading screen, punctuated by brief dogfights and random encounters that felt more like afterthoughts than integral parts of the journey. The core issue was that ships often served as glorified menus, mere conduits for fast travel between star systems, lacking any meaningful gameplay systems that would make the act of space travel itself engaging or necessary. This feedback has been a consistent theme in online discussions for the past 2 years, even as Bethesda continues to support the title. The initial expansion, Shattered Space, did little to assuage these concerns, with many players hoping for more than just point-and-click navigation. This latest update, however, aims to tackle these very issues. While the full patch notes are yet to be revealed, early details suggest a significant shift towards a more dynamic and unpredictable universe. Players can anticipate more emergent encounters, including spontaneous missions that trigger during interstellar travel. Expect to be pursued by pirates for longer durations, discover hidden quests through distress signals, and encounter stronger faction presences in the void, all designed to make space travel a more thrilling experience. Beyond travel, ship combat is also slated for improvements, with greater emphasis on balancing weapon types, shields, and maneuvering. New AI routines will make enemies less predictable, requiring players to adopt a more strategic approach to survival rather than simply lining up laser volleys. Perhaps the most exciting addition is the enhancement of exploration rewards. Activities like mining asteroids, salvaging derelict ships, and scanning anomalies will now yield more substantial resources, quest hooks, and lore, transforming space from a mere transit corridor into a fertile ground for new narratives. If Bethesda can deliver this update smoothly and without bugs, it could mark the beginning of rebuilding player trust for this otherwise charmingly flawed title. Audience impact. Fans are cautiously optimistic, hoping this update finally delivers on the game's initial promise and makes space exploration a core, enjoyable pillar of the experience. But can these gameplay overhauls truly recapture the magic? Next, we explore how another title is channeling that classic RPG spirit, aiming to be the space adventure many have been dreaming of. Outer Worlds 2, the unfiltered RPG experience we crave. As I navigate the opening hours of the Outer Worlds 2, I'm struck by how genuinely fun RPGs can be when they embrace their eccentricities. Whether it's lining up a shot with a futuristic pistol or getting tangled in the bizarre bureaucracy of a colorful alien planet, this game immediately pulls you in. It's been a while since an RPG has felt this alive, this connected to its world, and the developers at Obsidian Entertainment, known for their work on Fallout, New Vegas, seem to understand this better than most. While games like Oblivion or Fallout, New Vegas can be grim, it's often the quirky NPC interactions, the morally ambiguous quests, and the sheer chaos of a well-placed explosion that stick with players. The Outer Worlds 2 seems to capture this essence perfectly, offering a vibrant, personality-filled universe that makes Starfield feel comparatively bland. My hour or two with the sequel has already provided more memorable moments than many hours spent in Starfield, which, despite its appealing NASA-punk aesthetic, often felt too streamlined and lacked those spontaneous, shareable moments that define great RPGs. The game's broad strokes often obscured the finer details, making its planets feel empty rather than expansive. The Outer Worlds 2, in contrast, is all about intimacy with its world. It encourages players to delve into the quirky relationships between its inhabitants and engage in both witty dialogue and explosive combat. The game's scope feels more focused, exemplified by the Arcadia colony. While large, it's dense with settlements and wilderness, creating a cohesive design where exploration feels purposeful. My playthrough as a gunslinger with a silver tongue has already highlighted the game's commitment to player choice and its engaging narrative, driven by the hyper-capitalist struggles within Arcadia. The visual style, a blend of sci-fi and Art Deco, gives the Outer Worlds 2 a unique identity. Unlike the dystopian decay seen in other games using similar styles, here it's vibrant and forward-looking, echoing the spirit of America's Roaring Twenties. This aesthetic perfectly complements the game's themes of corporate expansion and colonization, creating a tangible world where big money interests are clearly at play. The narrative framing around Arcadia's fate promises a rich backdrop for quests and character interactions, making me eager to see how the player's choices will shape the colony's future. Audience impact. Players are excited by the prospect of a more character-driven and humor-filled RPG, seeing it as a refreshing alternative to more serious spacefaring titles. This focus on detailed worlds and character arcs is truly compelling. But what happens when a different kind of RPG, one with a beloved legacy, faces fan scrutiny over its open-world design? The Outer Worlds, a gateway to Obsidian's RPG brilliance. Confession time, I'm not typically a sci-fi RPG aficionado. My journey into the genre has been a recent one, with the Mass Effect trilogy being a surprising late entry. Starfield, Bethesda's latest venture, remained a mystery, much like its Fallout predecessors. However, a friend's insistent recommendation to dive into the Outer Worlds, praising it as superior to Fallout, has ignited a spark of curiosity, especially with a sequel on the horizon. As a devotee of medieval fantasy RPGs, space settings usually don't hold my attention for long. Yet, after experiencing the charm of Obsidian's Avowed and the narrative depth of Pentiment, I decided to heed the advice. Skip Fallout 4, hope for a Fallout 3 remaster, and give the Outer Worlds a try. The prospect of playing an Obsidian RPG, especially one that might eclipse Fallout, was too intriguing to ignore. What I discovered after just 2 hours was genuinely surprising. The game seamlessly blends retro-futuristic 1950s aesthetics with a quirky narrative. My role as a space colonizer, waking from cryosleep to aid a peculiar professor, has led me on a wild goose chase across an alien planet. From hunting down power regulators in Edgewater to dealing with the town's debt-ridden gravedigger and battling marauding bandits, the experience is packed with action and mystery. The game's mechanics, like the need to sleep or eat, remain unclear, but this ambiguity only adds to the charm and my desire to explore further. The game's unique flaws system, where gaining a perk point comes at the cost of a stat debuff, is a fascinating mechanic. My character's newfound drug-addicted flaw, acquired from overusing health inhalers, resulted in minor debuffs to temperament, persuasion, and health, but granted a valuable perk point. This trade-off adds a layer of strategic depth and consequence to character development, a feature I've rarely seen implemented so effectively outside of simulation games like The Sims. Furthermore, the thievery system, intrinsically linked to faction reputation, adds another layer of player agency. Successfully stealing from NPCs can lead to new gear and a slight dip in reputation, creating a dynamic where asking for forgiveness is often easier than seeking permission. This system, coupled with the game's charming art style and insidious corporate themes, creates a compelling contrast that makes the Outer Worlds incredibly engaging. Obsidian's evolution in narrative design is evident, building upon the foundations laid here and promising even greater depth in future titles like Avowed. Audience impact. Players are drawn to the game's unique blend of humor, retrofuturism, and engaging RPG mechanics, finding it a refreshing departure from more conventional sci-fi titles. This commitment to player choice and unique mechanics is truly impressive. Now, let's turn our attention to another legendary RPG series, where fan concerns about open-world design are casting a shadow over its highly anticipated return. The Elder Scrolls VI, open-world woes or fan overreaction. The Elder Scrolls franchise is synonymous with expansive open worlds, a hallmark that has captivated players for decades. Skyrim, in particular, set a benchmark with its vast, explorable regions, from bustling cities to hidden dungeons. However, Bethesda's recent foray into open-world design with Starfield has introduced a note of apprehension among fans regarding the upcoming The Elder Scrolls VI. Starfield's reception was mixed, with critics citing a sense of emptiness and overambition, leading to concerns that The Elder Scrolls VI might suffer a similar fate. Despite Starfield's innovative features, its vast, often barren planets, and the perceived lack of engaging content between major points of interest, have left many players yearning for the more focused exploration of previous titles. This has fueled anxieties about how Bethesda will manage the scale of The Elder Scrolls VI, a game already one of the most anticipated in history. Online discussions reveal a clear divide. Some fans believe that The Elder Scrolls VI will naturally return to the beloved, traditional open-world exploration that defined Skyrim and Fallout 3, arguing that its focus will be on a large, cohesive map rather than segmented planets. They express confidence that Bethesda will prioritize meaningful content density over sheer scale. However, a significant portion of the fanbase remains skeptical. Their concerns stem from the lack of concrete information about The Elder Scrolls VI, coupled with Bethesda's own statements about creating projects larger than anything they've done before. This raises questions about whether the map will be significantly larger than previous entries, and if so, how Bethesda will prevent it from feeling either empty or overwhelmingly crowded. Comparisons to Starfield's design philosophy are inevitable. The worry is that The Elder Scrolls VI might adopt a similar approach, prioritizing a multitude of planets over a singular, densely packed world. This could lead to a fragmented experience, diminishing the sense of cohesive exploration that Elder Scrolls fans cherish. The success of Skyrim was built on its immersive world, where every corner held a potential discovery, and the fear is that a misguided focus on scale could dilute this core appeal. Audience impact. Fans are divided, with some expressing confidence in Bethesda's ability to deliver a classic open-world experience, while others worry that Starfield's design choices will negatively influence The Elder Scrolls VI. Will The Elder Scrolls VI recapture the magic of its predecessors? That's all the news for today, but we've got plenty more insights coming your way. That's a wrap on another packed episode. We saw Starfield getting a much-needed space travel revamp, The Outer Worlds 2 channeling that classic RPG spirit, the first Outer Worlds proving its charm, and concerns rising for the Elder Scrolls VI's open world. Don't miss out on any of these epic updates. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this. Subscribe for more, ring the notification bell so you're always in the loop, drop a comment telling us your thoughts, and follow us on all social media platforms to stay connected. We'll see you in the next one.